Morning and good afternoon to my viewers. It is Shirley Youngblood with Spirit of Matter, Venus Wisdom on a Venus Day. So I'm recording it right now with the Jupiter. So I know it's a Venus day, which it will air tomorrow, but it's a Jupiter with the ascendant ruled by Venus and the descendant on Jupiter. Applying to conjunct. Venus, of course, separating from a conjunction to Neptune. Um, the moon in Capricorn squaring the Jupiter. And yes, it is applying to trine Uranus. So, midheaven ruled by the moon. Mars that rules Jupiter in the ninth house in Gemini, sextile and separating from sextile to Jupiter. And this is a really, really, really lovely um, teaching. Almost I said cheating because it's almost like a cheat sheet that you have for relationship in your life. Now, I'm recording this in this format because right now my entire street is dark. I may or may not have called to help Algol with the bus driver who was so excited about my whereabouts that he told me my address. So this was calling for Algol, of course, and now I came back today. Not only did I have the best driver in the world, I had my coffee at the BMW, and then the bus driver was amazing, and then I come back to the streets and wanted to do a evening walk. The entire street is shut down, and there was not a real fire, but almost a fire with. Okay, so thank you very much for Medusa and for the magicians working with Algol, Chris Warren, Experience Sundry, or whomever um, aided this portal and this message of protection, deflecting of what is not desired, and definitely making place for things that are desired. So introduction, because my disclaimer for this video, because this video is so positive, okay, Jupiter, Venus with Neptune in Pisces, and the moon applying to square Jupiter, and so on and so forth. Such wonderful time to have good encounters, good realizations about relationships, romantic ones, partnerships, long-term, even marriage. Okay, you could even meet that you could consider for marriage material. Um, if you tend to the outer planets the way you need to. What's important in the disclaimer is that this video is not a legitimacy to ignore red flags, not work on things that you need to work on, not tend to things that you need to tend to about your relationship. Okay, this is not a deep psychoanalysis of how you come into healthy patterns of relationship. No, 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 no. Okay, you want more stuff like this? Look to Lada Duncheva's channels, to Ksenia Moore's channels, to a more medium shadow work that is not like from violent relationship and stuff, but he also begins to deal with that for Victor's channel, Victor Astrology. Those will give you more the in-depth. I do have a Venus Wisdom on a Venus Day where I tend to the outer planets and aspects of Venus with the outer planets, what they can bring, the hard aspects that can give you an introduction for what to expect. But it's very important to me that you will not take this video as legitimacy to ignore things in your life that need to be changed, okay? So this video is mainly if you are in a point in your life where you just want to make a few steps that will bring you closer. You can use it at any time, okay? But make a few steps that will bring you closer to having a healthy, happy, safe long-term relationship, okay, partnership, given that, you know, you already do the other things. Like I said, okay, yesterday I did algol. I did not sleep all night, okay? And the salt baths and algol and this and that, today, you know, the is flat out dark. Only my street, okay? So I understand that this is a part of that protection that allowed me to enjoy the magics that I did enjoy, for example, today. That is very important. Shulina, wisdom on a Venus day. And for those who want to skip this is in 5.5. I cannot, for some reason, I cannot do the caption now, but if you are watching this, then if you can do the captions for people, if nobody did that before you, that would be great. Anyway, my teaching is when we look at least the ruler of the seventh house, at least the ruler of, now, there are many indications. Ksenia Moore does great videos about it. Lada Dudeva just did a great post about it. But this is another tip that I found today that is so magical and so sweet and so simple. It's a simple tip in that context. Look to the ruler of your seventh. It may work with Venus. It may work with Jupiter. But definitely look also at the ruler of your seventh house. Where is that? And I'm going to go through the houses, okay? And I'm going to go through the houses. Maybe I will do also the signs and give you a tip of if that ruler is in that house, then what you can expect to. Now, if you want to know who is the ruler of who, then let me know in the comments below. I will do a short video about rulership. That is a very simple thing to know. Once you know it, you get your delineation of charts, of your own chart, of other charts. You just get it ramping up, and it's simple. It's free education. You can look up rulership, or I can do a video about rulership that is going to boost your delineation ability so much more. Like you see, I do not do a video without rulership. So, ruler of the seventh house in the first house. Okay, doesn't matter which the ruler. You just look at the houses, and I do that. Well, for me, it worked with whole sign houses. It may work with a different house system for you. Try it and see what works for you. I know there was like a big drama about whole sign houses, but I just take it as a teaching of how to deal with Pluto in your 12th. And I talked about it in my video about Pamela Anderson's chart. So I made an introduction about that drama. So you can watch that video. Anyway, ruler of the seventh house in the first house, to a lesser extent, okay, it can be the ruler of the triplicity ruler of the seventh, the ruler of the fifth, okay, the ruler, yeah, triplicity ruler of the seventh, the ruler of the fifth, I'm sorry, the triplicity ruler, I believe first triplicity ruler, or that depends in the chart. There are triplicity rulers that rule relationships, romantic ones, so you need to look which. I don't know, I don't remember on the spot triplicity rulers. It can be, like I said, Venus, it can be Jupiter. Yeah, okay. Extent perhaps Mars. Again, we're looking for a long-term relationship, so it's beyond Mars. Unless Mars is the ruler of your seventh. Ooh, dogs are barking. Interesting. So the first house is, and you need to look at the sign, okay? That can boost up your entire life in general. If you look at the sign of your first house, because it is the body, then do something with that part of the body. Okay, for example, if you have Aries in the first house, then Aries rules the head and also the face. So it can, and you take it even to the physical, okay, matter and spirit. You can do face massages to yourself, not necessarily if you have Saturn in the first house, massages the head. So definitely, head is also the mindset. It's not your belief like the ninth house. It's more your approach to life, your mindset. Okay, mindset, because Aries rules the mind, and you need to make sure that this mindset is contributing to your physical health. Then you want that in a partner as well. Mindset is compatible with the physical health. And so if you arrange your mindset, if you take care of your face, your head, your scalp, okay, massage your scalp or tend to it. Well, not handstands. If it's healthy for you, depending on other factors, handstands. Okay, stand on your hands, then you flip the body upside down. It's very healthy for blood circulation. The blood, of course, is a part of the rulership is Mars, so that rules Aries. So that can be great. And this is a whole other video about ascendants. But if the seventh house ruler, or the ones I said, okay, ruler of the fifth, replace your two ruler that rules your romantic relationships in the seventh, to a lesser extent Jupiter or Venus, then what you need to do is take care of your mindset. And if you do something with your head, that is physical. Okay, I'm not talking about sexual acts. I'm talking about you with you. And this is important, you with you. And you pay attention that your partner is doing the same. Okay, so your relationship can be balanced and good. So this is if it is Aries. If it is Leo, then it's both the eyes. It also is, well, the heart, mainly the heart. Okay, so lift your legs up, do a bit cardio if it is healthy for you. That can be things that you can look to, but also the heart is the soul, so Shen, and that is very important to make sure your heart is aligned. Okay? That your heart is open, that you breathe well, that you have good balance between contraction and expansion in your heart. Find alternatives to beta blockers if you've had heart issues. This is literally a lifesaver. They shut out the whole body system. so yeah. And so you need to look at the sign and do something physical with the body. No, I'm not talking about sexual act. I'm talking about something physical that puts you in a situation where your physical appearance and you tend into yourself. And you, first thing in the morning, you start your morning because this is the ascendant is there. Okay, whole sign houses naturally. Every house system, first house would be with the ascendant. So the ascendant is there. I mean, you wake up your first thing in the morning. This is the ascendant. When you were born, the sun that was rising when you were born. The day when you wake up in the morning, you do something for that body part. If you want to know signs in the body part, I can do a separate video about that. Do ask me, okay? This is for the ruler of the seventh and the first. What this will do, it will make sure that you will pay attention both to yourself and to the other person, that they are doing healthy things with themselves, that they are in healthy disposition, okay? That they are physically fit as far as they can. You know, I'm not talking about ableism. A person can be on a wheelchair and still do and their body to be healthy. It can be, God forbid, you know, in depression, but still tend to this issue, even if only in the mind, okay? Tend to ask, wish, pray, and so on and so forth. And so the more you tend to this issue in yourself, then you can see when the timing is astrologically, you will be met, especially right now. You know, Venus is with Neptune, Jupiter is hard aspected by the moon, so many people can meet a significant other, and so on and so forth. Or right now, the moon is decreasing, decrease the blocks in meeting a significant other. And when you do, you can recognize it that this person is also doing these things. This person is also taking care of their body. I'm not talking about ableism. I'm talking about genuinely caring for your body within your ability, tending to it in the mind and in the physical as much as you can. Okay, just tending to it. Just tending to it is so powerful that it creates magic in your life that you cannot even begin to imagine. So, ruler of the 7th house or the 5th house, triplicity ruler of romantic relationship in the 7th, to a lesser extent Venus and Jupiter, in the 2nd house. So 2nd house, think about your ascendant is how you start up your morning, okay, your morning routine. The 2nd house, it rules grocery stores, it rules supermarkets, but it also rules your skills, of course, what you spend money on, how you spend that money. And another tip for you is 2 things. First of all, you can develop your skill, a skill that you have, okay? And think about this even as a skill that you can make money from. Something that you love, that you are passionate about, but you can also make money from. Okay, for me, I can make this content and I can support myself with it. Okay, it's content creation that I can do, that I'm passionate about, and I can definitely reach a situation, I can definitely get paid. And many other things that I can do and I can get paid. So that, and because it's both expenditure and income, then you need to at least tend, okay, to your income, at least manifest, tend to it, pray, wish, okay, to make money from what you create, from what you're passionate about, to make money, to make good money, and to spend that money wisely, to invest. Do not say spend, to invest the money. And I know investment is the 8th house, which is the opposite, but it's also our expenses. And when you call an expense an investment, okay, put the cynicism aside. When you call an expense an investment, and that is how you wake up in the morning. The 2nd house, you spend that energy. How you spend your energy. You start the day. What do you invest your energy and wealth and money and skill in? And as a result of that, the 2nd house is your cash flow. Not the cash flow that is made in investments of the money that you've already made. Okay, I know it can be tricky because the 2nd house is where I start off the engine, okay, and it's energy, right? People pay for it because most people don't drive solar cars, most people don't drive hydrogen cars, so they pay for it. And it can be very tricky, okay, how to go from the 2nd to the 8th. But if you just keep in mind, what do I allocate my energy? As energy is investment, okay, whether money is changing hands or not. Where do I allocate my energy? What do I allocate my focus? Just tend to it. Every day, just tend to it. Okay, so this is the spirit, the mind, also your habits. So if you start your day with habits that fit your ascendant, and then you move to allocate the energy the way you need to allocate the energy, then it's also relating, because it's ruling grocery stores. You can meet the person in a grocery store, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It can also mean that you tend to what you eat, and how you eat it, and make sure that at least you tend to, you wish, you pray, you manifest, and act as much as you can upon it, that your nutrition is supportive of your well-being and your soul. So for some people, it will be eating food they are afraid of to combat food eating disorder. Okay, for some people, it would actually be eliminating certain food from or reducing certain food from the menu. That very simple, it's not so simple, it's life transforming, but that very simple trick can put you online in alignment with the person who is tending to these things as well. Now, there can always be polarity. There can always be some polarity. Okay, maybe they are making a bit more money than you right now. Remember, it's a teeter-totter with relationships. Sometimes they will make some more, sometimes you will make some more, but the principle is that you both have your individual incomes, your individual skills, and you can support yourself individually, or at least be active as you tend to it, okay? On a social, spiritual, economical, and political level. And when you do that, then you will open the chances for you, okay, to meet with people that are at alignment. And it will be important to you. You can find out that when you change your diet, when you improve your diet, you meet a person that is way more compatible with you in more than one aspect. When you and this is that's the trick, okay? This is where astrology can point you to the direction of this is where you need to work on yourself, okay? And that together with protection, elimination, the work that you do internally, tending to things, the whole, other teaching, that can be life transforming. So you are on the right path for you, and then the person that you meet is supportive of this path, is not a drag on your life or in your habits, and they, even if they don't eat exactly as you, they will eat good that is good for them and tend to their own skill, their own thought. You will be able to communicate, okay? If you're eating from, think about it as eating from the same plate. And again, this is if the ruler is in your second. If it is in your first, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you eat vegan and they eat meat and it doesn't matter, okay? But in the second, food can become, because it is also values. Your food and your values, and this deeper understanding about the second house, because the second house is both our value, what we value, okay? What we allocate energy to study as a skill, and what we value when we make a purchase. But also our food. And our food is also a part of our values. Okay, so only this house can be, million self-help books and whatnot. But this is, I was thinking it's going to be a superficial video. No, it's a deep video. I did not imagine this to be this deep. I thought, I can get a cool trick. No, it's a very deep video. So, whichever way this works for you, you apply that again, and including the holistic view of it, then you put in yourself you put in your best foot forward, both in your life, because heck, it's wonderful to live by your values. It's wonderful to at least tend to it, to at least try to be Malivalis, to understand, to sift and sort your values. And you see that as your values shift, naturally the people you draw in, they shift. As your diet changes, the people you draw in, that can also be a change. And of course, as you are applying your skill, learning your skill, have more passion about life, and you meet people that are doing the same. And then you can talk with each other and you support each other. And you share values that are compatible. It doesn't have to be one-to-one exactly the same, but you share values that are compatible. You can have something in common. It's really, eating from the same plate. So, ruler of the seventh in the third, okay, or ruler of the fifth, or triplicity ruler that rules romantic relationships in the third. I think that changes if you're night or day chart. To lesser degree, Jupiter or Venus in the third house. And the third house is one of the houses that are, I think, modernly with communication. Traditionally, it is associated with your daily routines, the type of errands that you do, but routinely. Okay, it's not necessarily paperwork like taxes, more like the things you do routinely. Okay, if you go to church every Sunday, or if you go to synagogue or to the then every Friday, every Saturday, then this is your daily routine. Okay, then if you I don't know, and this is also transportation for this reason, because people usually travel locally in the third routinely. Okay, they go to work. Again, if you have, of course, connections to the night, maybe you routinely travel abroad or something. But this is where your means of transportation, and this is why I said to a lesser degree Venus or Jupiter. Okay, you can have the ruler of the seventh, let's say in the ninth, your Jupiter in the third. What vehicle using? How, what you drive, how you drive it. Okay? At least tend to it. At least tend to it. What you drive, how you drive it. Really important. Even deeper. Driving culture where you are, around you. What is the driving culture? What neighborhood do you want to be around? Tend to it, just tend to it. You will understand. Do that. The more you tend to it, the more options will open up. It's like manifesting. Even in the middle of nowhere, you can meet a person that is just thinking the way you are thinking about this. Maybe you don't have the vehicles that you want to have just yet, but you both are dissatisfied from the way people drive around your area. But think about this, just you both think the same, you share the same views, okay? Then you understand that your daily life, and for you this is important, your daily lives will go well with each other. They will blend well. And this is your daily habits, your routines. And as they are changing and transforming, the type of people you will meet will change and transform. Your daily routines. Also, what you drive, how you drive it. At least tend to it. And tend to it because it's a daily routine, tend to it every day. Even if you don't have a car, even if you don't have a driving license, if you want to fly a plane, tend to it every day. Every day. Okay? Just tend to it, just look at it, ask the questions, ask how am I manifesting what I do desire, what is good for me, what is nourishing for me. Tend to it. You will see that it can create connections that are to you even spousal, because this is where you meet. Well, it's communication. So naturally, at least tend to your communication skills. You know, we all have a lot to learn about how to communicate, even if we are the best communicators. So just tend into it. And if you do that, when you do that, then the moment you will have these positions in astrology that open up for you, hey, Jupiter and the ruler of your seventh, a Venus return and it's Venus protected year for you. All these things, you will see that the options that open up for you, they open up easier. Okay, when they do come, it's easier to identify that this could be something, huh? Or that this is it. You are open to the world surprising you in a beautiful way. Okay? Maybe you think, oh, I'm in the middle of nowhere. How will I meet someone? Have a look to your chart. This is the things that you have. This is what you have. Look to what you don't like. Look to what you do like. Look to what you'd like to have different. Okay, just tend to it. Just manifest. Put it in your grocery list. Huh? And of course, tend to your communication. Those things will improve greatly. Of course, if you have like a speech impairment or something like that, at least tend to it. Okay, for me, I speak every time a different accent, and I know somebody who will be with me would need to accept that. Just that it's not going to change, but I radically accepted that. I radically identified that. I would not push if somebody, notes this out or wonders what is it, I know what to tell them. Okay, no, I always have channeling. If I think about it, something changes and there's a lot going on, so they can actually identify sometimes who was in my mind or what ideas did I think about according to my tonality and my mannerism. So, ruler of the seventh house in the fourth house. Okay? So, the fourth house, it rules elementary school, which can also be the third house to an extent. It rules graveyards. It rules your own home of origin or a house. Okay? Now you have to pay attention very closely because there are cases where you have, let's say, the ruler being Mars or the ruler being Mercury. Then it rules two houses. You want to listen for both houses and apply the advice on both houses. This can also be if your ruler is the moon. Okay, because the moon is also what I'm about to say, it's ruling that as well. And of course, Venus, Jupiter, and so on and so forth. This is very, likely to be connected to real estate. Now you have to see where is the ruler of the fourth. Because this will give you another layer of data. Okay, this is the ruler of the seventh. Let's say Mercury is the ruler of the seventh in the fourth. And the fourth is Mercury, then this is Mercury, you have one layer. But let's say Mercury, let's say it is the moon. Okay, the moon is the ruler of the seventh, and then what would be, I don't know, that would make it a Capricorn rising, and then Aries is, yeah, the 10th, that would make Libra the 4th. So let's say the moon is in Libra. Okay, but Libra is ruled by Venus. So you look at both the fact that you have what is the fourth house, and this is real estate, Graveyards, so ancestral connection, it can also be graveyards, visiting graveyards, physically visiting graveyards, being, in these places, or the graves of your ancestors, okay, tending to the soul connection, your home environment. And this can be, of course, very, very deep because it requires you, like any relationship does, but this one with a bit more emphasis, or a lot more emphasis, to tend to your ancestral healing. Okay, no way to go around it. Everybody has ancestral thingy to do. So you could have an altar for your ancestors. You can look up ancestral healing, working with my ancestors, honoring your ancestor, honoring the home where you grew up, or healing, or if you have wounds around this. Not everybody grew up in a perfect house. I totally get it. Not everybody's ancestors were perfect. I totally get it. Just tend to it, even if it's radically accepting. Okay, for some people, it's radically accepting that they are not in contact with so and so. Okay, just tend to it. Tend to it. And ask um, to have a place of wholeness around this, whether it brings, healing, or it brings just radical acceptance that this is the way it is. Then you can be with each and you can understand each other. Home, even if, by the way, home environment, it always comes up in relationships, right? Where you grew up affects how you see things, because mother, father, moon, sun, or mother, mother, still moon, sun, and moon, sun is our eyes, how we see the world. Of course, how we see the world affects our relationships. It affects everything. Fourth house, it's also real estate. Now, like I said, where is the ruler of the fourth? Is it in the ninth house? Maybe you need to um, live abroad, okay, if it's in the ninth house. Is it in the 10th house? Maybe you need to work in real estate. If it's in the, I don't know, second house, maybe it's about owning a house. Just tend to it. Wherever you are on the journey, you would need a partner you can grow together with. But the more you tend to it, and this is, again, your housing. Housing matters. Take up space. Okay, in the first body, it's a posture. Take up space in the world. In the fourth house, you take up space. If you go to a family dinner, meet it with your family. Take up space. Sit comfortably in the chair. Be comfortable with your own skin. If anybody asks what's wrong with you, you say, what's wrong with you? Okay, it's not as easy as I said, but there can be a journey. Taking up space, and also in your house. Have space that you can relax, that you can maybe on what what is in your fort, something in your fort, and when you allow yourself to relax in your own house, where you live, just tend to it, okay? Perhaps consult a feng shui consultant on how to make it more energetically adaptable. Make sure you deal with the person that would do a good job, or at least tend to it. Like, even if they don't do a good job, and you will meet later a person who does. And that your house matter, your relationship with the house, okay? Whether it's altars, whether it's ancestral healing, whether it's offerings to the house. Buy something for the house, get something for the house, do something to honor your house, which I do. I'm very, very grateful and very thankful to mine. Bless your house. And also, if you don't have your house of your own, so bless both the place where you live in, wherever it is, okay? A freaking shelter Bless the shelter with the blessing of you, what you wish for this shelter to be. Even that, okay? God forbid you find yourself sleeping a night outside, not out of your own wish. If you have the power within you, find the building, find a place that looks like a place you would want to bless this place. Try to think what this place needs. Bless this place. You might find out that you will be owning these places. Okay? Do not despair. Not only do not despair, it is even deeper. Okay? It's the relationship with your house that you build, and it's going to create a better relationship. You will build a better home, slowly and gradually. You will. The ruler of the seventh or the fifth, or Venus Jupiter, in your fifth house. So this one has both easy and sometimes difficult aspects. The easy thing, it means that you could have a one night stand that turns into marriage. I think two or three couples just like that. They had one night stand, which everybody says will never turn out anyway, and they are married now. A one night stand. you know? So that can be ruler of the seventh in your fifth, or ruler of the fifth in your seventh. Okay? Or the connection between them is very important. So, and depending on if you are day chart, night chart, there are triplicities to the seventh house, and if one of the triplicities is of the ruler of your romantic relationship, if you have connection with that, and your fifth house ruler, then you could even have the ruler of the fifth in the fifth, and then you have connection immediately, because one of the triplicity rulers is going to be the fifth house ruler. And so that can mean that love and marriage do go together. So it can also mean that it's difficult to not have them together for some people. So fifth house, not only does it rule children and the desire to have them. Well, how do you feel around children? It's important, okay? Children and the desire to have them. Fertility. Okay. Fertility, at least tend to be fertile in spirit as much as you can in matter as well. Fertile is a big term, okay? When you grow and nourish something, whatever that may be, you've been fertile. When you create, creativity, this is also the house of leisure time, but also hobbies. Creativity, not just hobbies, but creativity. Second chakra. Then the curiosity of a child. Creativity, the curiosity of a child. Some people communicate with their children before they are born. Also, tend to in anything. Well, you desire to have children. Okay. Also think of the question. Look at the desire. Even if right now you don't have the money, even if right now you don't know, you have a trauma that you need to process, but just didn't do it. Say, I have desire. I have, or earlier me, say, I want to make sure that my choice around children is stemming from a place of healing, of being whole, of being able, of being able both to be a parent and in the way that is fitting for me and for my future children, financially, If it is with a partner, then with the partner, but also to to have that and make sure that I reach this position. Because if a person does not have money to bring children, and they're so afraid, then how can they even know? The fear can cloud people so much. They can say, oh, I don't know if I want children. Maybe check what the fears. This is not shaming people who decided to be child free. Okay, it is to make sure that if you do have a desire, perhaps there are ways in which it is possible that you didn't, or at least tend to it on a social, political, financial, economical, and spiritual level. Also physical. Okay, tend to your fertility. Whatever you want to grow, nourish, tend to your fertility. This is also the house of risks and gambling. And so, when you create a connection that is based on something that you love to make sure you're being creative, and your creativity is nourishing for you. And when you connect with people based on loving to create together, then for some people, it can also mean that if they had addictions, that can make it easier to tame them. So, of course, if there are gambling issues, then this is something you want to tend to, and that at least tend into it. That is something that can definitely create, plant the seed of desire for healthy connection, for healthy attachment pattern, for creating something beautiful in your life. You can grow. The simplest thing, do something you like, create something you like. If you like to dance, go dancing. If you like to sing, sing. And you, within this, within that, you will definitely be able to attract your spouse. And when they are doing what they like, what they desire, then you'll see you have so much in common together. You have so even if your hobbies are not compatible, it's not always that you have the same hobbies. It's not always. I know a couple. The only thing that they like to do together is to travel in nature. Every time I see their photos every week and traveling here, traveling there. Nothing. He likes these kinds of parties. She likes that kind of parties. She plays something, and he, like completely not the same, but they get along very well because both of them are tending to doing something that they're passionate about. Okay, it doesn't mean that you do the same thing, but that you are being creative individually. Then maybe together as well, right? It's also the house of the first child. So um, this is for the fifth house. Ruler of the ruler of the seventh house in, oh, of course, I forgot, deciding how you want to raise your children. Really, at least tend to it. And that's why Jupiter is also important. Jupiter is also children and the bringer of children. Huh? Ruler of the seventh house in your sixth. Okay. This is where pets come into play. And that already receives a connotation because it's the seventh house, and seventh house is also sexuality, no? But I mean that because I mean it even before you meet the other person. So If it is something sexual for you, then of course, you know, become acquainted with your own kink, or desires, the nature of you, become acquainted with your own. It's not a harmful thing to do. So become acquainted with your own kink. Um, and really sexual literacy is so important. So, but this is to everything. I don't know. Yeah, like that can compromise a whole other, type of video. That, yeah. This is also pets, not a kink play, pet play, but actual pets. What kind of pet do you like? And now, this is funny because that people, it's more than pets and dogs. It can be a snake, it can be a bird, it can be whatnot. And again, it doesn't mean that you grow the same pet together with your partner. It just means that both of you are okay with the pets that you are growing individually. So, um, I was watching, some cat videos, and apparently there are so many types of cats. And I was looking at the Maine Coon, or also the personality of the Maine Coon, and it seems like it's a good compromise between a dog and a cat. It's as big as a dog. It follows you everywhere around, very attention-seeking, like a Labrador, like a Golden, and also it is a cat, right? So. It looks like people who have, one dog person, one cat person, and they can come together to compromise. They would probably get a Maine Coon. But again, it can be a bird, it can be a spider. The important thing is that you need to see also where the ruler of the sixth is. Is it only in a pet? Is it going to the zoo together? You could find somebody at the zoo, maybe, I think. And maybe to some extent spirit animal, but I'm not sure. So the sixth house seems to be like a difficult house because it's the house where you give, you are of service to the world. It's also labor. Okay, Catherine Astrology did a great in a delineation of the sixth house is where people get pregnant because it is labor. And so it is also how you work, is your work, what you do when you are working. Okay, if the second house is your skill, the sixth house is how you are at work. Both in working environment, so both in working environment and as well make sure that when you are giving your service to the world, okay, you're carrying out your service to the world, you're not forgetting yourself, you're not depleting yourself, because otherwise it will hurt you physically and mentally. So work in a good labor. What is labor? It's contraction and expansion, right? And then an orgasm and so on and so forth. And labor, when you are in good balance of contraction and expansion, whether it's the muscles, whether it's how many hours you work, your schedule, or how intense is your work, and you have to find your own balance. You have to find your own balance. There can always be a bit polarity, but not, sometimes not even. So when you work in a good balance of expansion of contraction, that optimum phase, and it's a range of optimum, then you are more healthy. You feel that work doesn't deplete you. Not only does it not deplete you, you come back after a day of work happy to meet with your spouse, your husband, your wife. It could be, and this is where you need to be cautious, because the best is when you are not working for your spouse or for your husband. This is why I said pets immediately, because this can be good remediation. Sixth house is service, so again, it can be pronounced as kink, a service kink. But even in relationships that have power exchange or that are built on, somebody is a servant, somebody is a this, somebody is a that, it's okay. But even in those relations, there still are practices to maintain and make sure that the people in the dynamic are balanced. And you can look to Evie Lupine if you're into that kind of, kinky life. She offers like really top quality information about how to do that in a way that is safe. But this is also why I mentioned pets, because growing a pet is a sixth house remediation. If you are up to it, doesn't mean that you can grow a pet always. It can mean that you pay attention. Maybe it's the street cats or the street dogs. And maybe it is what you work at, or you're working with pets, or the pets are working with you. But to tending to pets, especially the type of pet that is ruled by your sixth house sign. Okay, then you can look what is ruled by your sixth house sign. You can befriend. When you befriend this pet, then it is a tremendous remediation. Okay, so this is a great way to start, and make sure that as you are of service to whoever you are, you're doing it in a good balance of expansion and contraction. If you do that, then you will see you meet another person, your partner is also like that. And you can identify if this person is like that. You can talk to him, within one conversation. Within one conversation, you talk about what kind of a dog person, a cat person, a this person, a that person. You get the polarity, and you get if this is a person that I can share a life with. That is, and that's something you might see, or this might be a part of how you identify. This person I can share a life with. This person is something that is someone that would be healthy for me physically and spiritually. Okay, 12th house, 6th house axis, okay, in spirit and in matter. This is a person I can be sane with. This is a person I can be physically vital with. And everybody has their contraction expression in life, but this is a person that I can run the course of my life with, and they will be contributing to that. That's important. And this will, again, whenever the options, the timings are opening up for you to meet that person, to do something with that person, to become or to date or to whatnot, then the options are going to be even better. You will identify, you will know what to pay attention to, and you will not skip this. So, ruler of the seventh in the seventh. Seventh house ruler in the seventh, okay? To a lesser degree, Venus, Jupiter, and so on and so forth. Now, seventh house ruler in the seventh. And you know what? You need to understand. There are three triplicities. The first romantic, it depends, it's like, I think it matters if it's day chart, night chart, it's like romantic, business and partnership, or partnership, or the person in front of you, whoever is in front of you, even the neighbor in front of you, okay, the door in front of you, and enemies. So it's the house of partners and open enemies. Now, we say, oh, what if the ruler of my seventh house is in the triplicity of enemies? Bless an enemy. If somebody aggravates you, think what aggravates me about this person or what threatens me around this person. You say, if that person was to be healthy and happy forever for the rest of his life, what would you like to change about them? What would you like to bless them with? Okay? Bless them with respecting themselves and each other. Bless them with having a healthy, respectful sexuality towards themselves and each other. And say, I bless myself because it's, the other. Okay, it can be a reflection sometimes. Say, I bless myself in the same thing. So much so that you can say, when I bless my enemy, I bless myself in the same thing. Okay? This is life transforming. It doesn't mean don't use alcohol. It doesn't mean don't deflect. It doesn't. No. Okay, if you need to protect yourself by any means necessary, protect yourself. That's not the point. The thing is, on a spiritual level, from a bird's eye view, bless an enemy. And when you at least tend to that, you understand, even on a political level, there are peace agreements. And you need to look at what does the triplicity look in, what is the seventh house? What is the ruler? What does it rule? What associates with the ruler? Virgo, for example, rules herbs. So you can say we disagree about a lot of things, but we both agree that herbs are good for you. And we both agree that if people connected with nature or minded their words, communication words, you might have an issue around that. You might use words to manifest. I might use words to release energy. But we both agree that words have meaning. Okay, we can agree on that. We might not agree on it on the path. Okay? And at least tend to that. Okay? And of course, like I said, okay, sometimes you need to deflect. You will deflect what's not, that everything that has to die as I would say, that everything that has to die so that I can live in peace, in joy, in honor of myself and others, in respect. Let it die. Let it die. And that's that. That's that. So this is important, right? And again, this is not legitimacy to not do other things, right? It's just a good tip. Seventh house, in the seventh house, it's tricky because the seventh is the seventh, right? It's the other. So only when tending to the other will you meet the other. And it depends. Look to the aspects. Look to the aspects. In this case, look to the aspects. What is it aspecting with? Then you can tell what houses does it make connection with, and what houses by rulership does it make connection with. Okay, but let's say aspects, I don't know, Jupiter. Okay, where is Jupiter? So Jupiter is in Scorpio. Okay, good. Where is Mars? And this is how you begin to get the relation, the interconnectedness of things. For the seventh house, the key thing is to think about yourself. How am I as a partner? How am I as an enemy? Okay? This is key. And also it's good to think um, how can I have, healthy partnerships in my life? This, again, it looks like a loop, like a tautology, because it is the seventh house. So very difficult to delineate just from that. And at least tending to partnerships, the role models you have for partnerships, what do you like, what do you not like, and that is, it's very plain. It's not something that I can tell you, oh, eat the way you want, that's good for you, that will help, or because it's not a trick. It's directly, the ruler is directly in the seventh, so you just need to look at relationships as they are. Maybe you're the type of person that needs to take a course about relationships, okay? But the course about relationship from the perspective of deeper learning, like a Esther Perel, like people who have mastered the art of partnership and relationship and romantic relationship long term, and listen to them. Okay, so Alison, I don't remember, Alison something, Esther Perel, I don't know, Matthew Hussey, those people that have been doing that for years. This is their profession. Perhaps some of that applies to you. Then you need to check. Ruler of the seventh in the eighth. So, eighth house, debts, taxes, investments, inheritance, and other people's money and energy. So first of all, the eighth house is what we tend to swipe under the carpet. At least tend to it. What's in there? How am I with taxes? Talk openly, discuss with you. How am I with taxes? Tend to it. Try, ask to be better. Have to have a better relationships with taxes. How am I in investments? If I had, $1 billion right now in my pocket, okay, what would I invest them in? Big questions to ask. And also energy, other people's energy. Now, if you are this person who is dogmatic, who is saying, I don't know what's in it, then I don't know how you're watching the channel, but you have to acknowledge the eighth house is also a way that is a bit of a hidden house, because if you look from the ascendant, the seventh house is right in front of you, okay? The sixth house, not so, right? It's the inconjunct, what we call the 150 degrees, and the eighth house, not so. And of course, the second house where you're heading, the 12th house is right behind you, okay? It's a blind spot. So 12th house considered as for the most illuminating, but also this is your blind spot. So it can also be considered the most challenging, okay? Don't swipe it under the rug. It's this 12th house. So think about anything in your 12th, it can be difficulties, okay? Again, I have, Mercury ingress to my 12th house, rules transportation. Then, suddenly some driver tells me, you live there, and tells me my address, and I'm looking at him like, I didn't even look at him like, what the fuck, because I was so shocked, and later I was furious, and all of my fury I put back in, deflection and so on and so forth. But they already gotten over it, like already invited the forces that are going to help me tackle it all by any means necessary. This is big and this is important. So, like you said, this is the transit to the 12th. I remember one time he started saying, how come you're not my friend on Facebook? I said, I don't have Facebook here, and then went out. But now the person, like, into 12th, then he exposes himself. I also work with Neptune that rules hidden enemies sometimes. Yeah. So people that are hidden and so on and so forth, Venus perfection, Venus with Neptune, poof, something pops up, and poof, oh, there is this person that actually bothered to see where I live outside of the time of his work because he's not stopping next to my house. And that means that this person went to meet, did a very big effort to know where I live. Okay, so this is obviously not a person who have healthy attachment patterns or tries to hit on someone in a healthy way. I say, oh, no. The entire army from my ancestors to the planets to what, protect, deflect, if needed be, attack. Hopefully not needed be, but, you know. And then today, I had my coffee at BMW and I spoke with, you know, the driver that I really, really like, and then it's like all going beautifully and smoothly. And return to the street that is all like no electricity. It's like this the work. It's like this is the work of alcohol. Yeah. So in the 8th house, it's a dark house, right? You don't see it so well. And it's the things that you tend to swipe under the rug. And so at least standing to them is important, especially the word energy. Okay? If you're one of the people who don't acknowledge astral, energetic, psychic, okay? Set your boundaries there as well. Separate finances, activism towards separate relation with taxes. Okay, not so that one person can make something and then the financially abusive of the person that they're living with. No, this is irrational. Irrational. Why should somebody like separate taxes? And this is activism, political activism that you need to tend to. At least tend to manifest, pray, ask, okay? So you can have easier relationships. So taxes, separate investments. You can, you want to open a joint account, no problem. Make sure you also have individual accounts. Make sure you also have individual investments, individual net worth. And again, this is activism definitely needed to have separate net worth. Prenuptials do not cover everything. And make sure you know the laws in your country. And psychic. Okay, ask to be in your energy. You can merge, you can have energy, now every day people can learn how to have energetic encounters, intimate or astral gatherings or talks or something like that. People can learn that. It's also important to have boundaries, okay? Even physically, think you're not inside your partners all day, right? You're not inside each other all day, okay? Also energetically. You are you, they are them. You can merge every once in a while, you can enjoy, you can have shared dreams. Lovely, okay? Make sure they're separate, at least tend to it, okay? Not that one person tries to get into the other person's energy without consent, okay? At least tend to it. And if you have it in the right, if you talk about energy, if you talk about psychic, then if you tackle it at that level, then you have power. Because nobody can say you're crazy, you're schizophrenic. If you have something like a psychic attack or like this, no, it's not crazy, it's not schizophrenia. You don't even go to the doctors. You don't even go to the, because you go to the doctors, or you go to the shamans, or you go to the teaching and the practices, and you can open YouTube and say, how do I protect me in my energy field? Okay, so Mark Bayersky has great videos about me. He says, no one has the power over me. And understanding that no one has the power over me. Okay? That, with that might. With that might. That presence. And that's just one example. You can use herbs. You can use crystals with this notion. Take your power back. If I might bother Lada with this, because I know she dealt with taking your power back from psychic attack, and I definitely, now that I think about it, I need to tell her, you need to make a video about it. I hope she's going to make it anyway, but if not, she definitely needs to. Hey, how to take your power back. Be in the body. Okay, it can be deflection. Everything that doesn't respect my boundaries, out. Okay, deflection. Only things and people and beings that respect me and my boundaries around me. Only things that are nourishing for me and good for me around me. Everything that sways me off my path, of my presence, of my being, of my sense of centeredness and joy in life, out by any means necessary. Okay, call anyone, your ancestors, yourself, everyone, in spirit and in matter, out. Okay? Then, of course, you can bless an enemy. You can, offer them to go to the light, or not you yourself, but, say they can go to the light. They can, I wish upon them healing. I wish upon them alignment, healthy sexuality, respects themselves and each other, healthy energy being, a healthy energy being that respects themselves and each other. I bless my enemies with that. I bless myself with this. The same. Be healthy energy being, good, respectful, right? And that is what you can do. And so this is very important. Okay, if people say around you, I don't believe energy, I don't believe that, don't tell them that. But in your mind, get the fuck out of my life. I don't want you in my life. You're the type of person that if a person goes to have psychic attack, you give them beta blockers that shut down the whole system of the body, do not validate the person in the actual experience, do not give them tools and practices to actually deal with what's happening, to oppress them, and to use gaslighting manipulation, because this is the 8th house, okay? 8th house can be trauma, because it's boundaries in energy, and then financially. No. Okay, so now, because it's also inheritance, it's another one of these houses where there can be ancestral issues. So think about, how did my family deal with inheritance? Taxes, inheritance, trusts. Okay, did we have trusts? Did we have things to inherit? Were there issues of debts? Okay, and how do I take the good things, the teachings, the learning, and learn good practices of how to deal with wealth in the family? Okay, what is my inheritance? What is my legacy? What I leave behind me? Okay, this is also leading to legacy. So it's what was in the past also leading to legacy. It's energy. It's energy. Okay, Tom Jacobs, and I know I mentioned his name a lot. He's a person that definitely just watching his videos was a great contribution to my own healing. Even though we might not agree about, certain channelings, but you know, he tells himself when he channels, I channels, it's not always easy to accept, what the channel will say. But this is the great thing about being a channel, to be listening to another opinion that can be completely transformative and just say, okay. So he had, I don't know if he still has a course about money is energy, is money is energy. And when you come to the 8th house, this is so true. This is so true. I think he that can be a source of tackling with those things. Okay, I haven't taken the full course, but this is something that comes to mind if you want a reference to somebody that does deal with that. Okay, at least tend to it. When you do, you create a cycle of evolution, which is another 8th house theme, where you will run your joint assets and joint energy, because you do have joint energy when you come into being with another person, even if you didn't have sex. Of course, the house of after having sex, okay? But if you, this can definitely denote sex before marriage, but it can also mean you have a joint asset before marriage. Okay, now a couple that had an apartment together before they were married. And the wife said, I want a ring. And the husband said, but we have a house together. What are you talking about? And she said, oh, well, I want a ring. It's important to me. And so and so. I said, okay, just not religious anything. And that's it. But they had a house before. I don't know the chart, but this could be a case of the ruler of the 8th, and you have joint assets before you have a marriage. When somebody has the ruler of the 8th and the 7th, you may have find that you run something together before you come into marital commitment. Okay? In many cases, the prenuptial is a form of trying to put the 8th before the 7th. But it is also necessary, right? So just an into it can make your life so much richer, and understand that, if you do the 8th one good, then when you get to the 12th, you're not so troubled. Okay? If you do the 8th one good, it's not you're not so troubled. The 12th is the 12th. It's what you didn't know. But you will not go, because the 12th house is also mental health. It's also jail. It's also hospitals. It's also hotels. Okay? So when you have the 12th house, let's say something, even a Mercury or a moon, okay, goes through the 8th house. If you know what energy is and you tackle that at that level, when it comes to the 12th house, you're like, oh, wait, energy boundaries. Oh, wait, this is, a psychic issue. Oh, wait, that was like something hidden that, hey, I need to collect my energy. Reframe my astral body. This is why Saturn is so good in the 12th, because Saturn is structure. Okay. Then when you come to the 12th, it's still the 12th, but you can do the things that break through. Even so, when you learn the previous house, especially the 8th house, correctly, okay, and you understand things in terms of energy form, that can be life-saving. And this is important. Okay. For example, just so you know, 8 and 12, right? There's an approach called open dialogue. They're sending even social workers from Israel to Finland to study open dialogue. And in this approach, what was previously considered by psychiatry, 12th house, and also Neptune, schizophrenia, okay, psychosis, eventually, these people that had tremendous trauma, that they had to hide, so sometimes it's sexual trauma, sometimes it's other types of trauma, and they couldn't tell. Think about the atomic veterans, okay, that were silenced for 50 years. Think about the person that goes through something in the family and they cannot speak with anyone, they cannot speak about it, okay? So they couldn't frame it in words, and so they began to experience their whole life, because if you cannot talk about something, your experience, the facts are, putting words to things can validate, can form structure, putting the right words to things can ease. This is about why talk therapy is so prevalent, right? But if they didn't even have the words, they didn't have the slowly the ability to conceptualize, to connect with the reality of the people around them, not deteriorated, but was not brought into fruition. And so they began to experience life in other realms available and knowing to navigate. In the 8th house, you know to navigate, learn to navigate these realms. This is me, this is the other. Oh, this is their feelings. Oh, this is their imagery. Oh, this is their analogies. Analogie. Nou ja. Okay. Oh, it's their language. Oh, okay. Okay. This is okay. No, I want to go back to my dream now. No, I want to... or let's share a dream together. Okay. Oh, I can also say something or put something. I can also channel energy to them so they understand me. We can also connect telepathically. This is happening in the 8th house. Telepathic communication. Okay. When this is not organized, then just like in the 5th house, yeah, it carries on to the 12th. You say, no, I want a healthy, I want to be able to enjoy telepathy, empathy, energy, encounters, tantra, to feel together also when we are apart. Yes, of course, I want to enjoy that. And to also have individuality, separation, respect, mutual, both for me, for them, and for them, for me. Okay, a sense of autonomy, a sense of self, right? And of course, healthy, willingly consensual sensuality, sexuality, astral sex, and so on and so forth. Absolutely. Okay. Then when you get to the 12th, you understand you are not crazy, and no, you are not imagining, right? So this is important. And you are not imagining does not necessarily mean, for example, you can feel, if you feel another person's energy, you know that this is their energy. You know that this is their energy, okay? And then we can talk about this thing together. You can talk about what you're feeling, and then if it is ethical and okay, if it's not ethical and not okay, you just deflect and protect your boundaries, and that's that. Till you learn how to enjoy what you can, what you enjoy. So energy, 8th house energy. You want to learn it, definitely until the 8th house, definitely in the 8th house. You do not want to wait until the 12th house to learn what is energy. Okay? You do not want to wait until the 12th house to be invalidated, acknowledged for all of your experience. Anybody around that doesn't acknowledge energy, okay? Not good for you. Not good for you. Not good for you. Get them out of your life. Have them not be in a position where they can affect your life or have any decision. They can affect your life. Such a person can say something, you're going through something, then a person that knows open dialogue or that knows what is psychic, what that knows what is energy, they can speak to you in one language and you can come back to your senses in a conversation. That other person calls the cops, they call the welfare, they call the hospital, they call the psychiatrist, they call the psychologist who rapes you. Okay? You understand what I mean, okay? And believe me, I've seen cases. I'm a holistic health practitioner. Oh my God, I have been exposed into cases outside of my practice because usually in this such case I cannot do anything. I'm a practitioner. I'm not those themes. Okay, and this is what I have to say about it. Okay, it's not an easy, right? It's a deep house. Ruler of the 7th in the 9th. Ruler of the 7th in the 9th. Ruler of the 7th in the 9th. The 9th. So, your worldview, higher studies, traveling. Whenever you get these 3 right, you're going to meet someone that you have that much in common. And again, the other work of how is this ruler aspected, how is the ruler of the 9th aspected, what other things you need to settle, it's there. It's specifically ruler of the 7th and the 9th, not all the levels. So it can be that you understand what you like to study in university and you apply, or you look for even scholarships to apply, you meet the person. It doesn't mean that they study the same topic as you, it just means that each of you is in the worldview that is good for them. 9th house is also the house that we make in Indian astrology. An Indian, not American Indian, but Indian. D9. And the D9 chart is taking the 9th house, slicing it open. It's the worldview. This is also both of the person, I think, is the mature, above 36, and it's also taking a look at the worldview, because worldview is so essential. Your spiritual, your relations with God or the lack of, how you see the world is so essential to your well-being as a couple. Well, it's also, okay, this is Indian astrology, it's not Hellenistic astrology. We do talk about rulers of houses. 9th house ruler is Jupiter, which is also the planet of travel, the guru, watch, Carpiel's channel. So Carpiel, KRP or KSP, I think he calls his channel, is a great channel. It's going to give, you can feel a bit my intonation change because I think about him and then my intonation looks a bit weird, but it's okay. That's me. So this is such a good teaching, such a prominent teaching, because Jupiter, or 9th house, Indian astrology speaking Deutsch, is basically a part of why you are having a relationship from the perspective of, if I got it correctly, from the perspective of Indian astrology. And you know, even in Western, there's Goethe that talked about a couple not being looking at each other, but looking together, walking towards a joint path together. And so this is a path that is also of traveling, also of spirit, of God or gods or whatever you believe in. This is considered the house of God in Hellenistic astrology. Okay. So um, when you begin to develop these, and the more you form yourself through them, and this is why in Indian astrology they look at the D9, because your worldview grows all the time, especially after 36 when Saturn matures. Your worldview grows all the time, and so it's very difficult. And the D9 can be a make or break chart for some people. Okay, if you take a look at Lada's teaching, when she began to look at the D9, she understood why she met her husband, because whatever she would look at other charts, this is her story, she didn't understand. They're happily married and so on, but it's like they never understood why until she learned about the D9. You take the ninth house, you open it up, and this is how you look at the chart. So I don't know exactly how do they calculate it, but at the end of the day, it's understanding that our worldview are compatible, that this person and you are going towards, you're doing something together on a spiritual level. This is why you came here into being at all as a couple, okay? That thing. This is ninth house. So you might want to learn about the D9 as well. And of course, travel abroad, right? With your person and the traveling. So where do you travel? How you travel? Seventh in the tent. So the tent. If the fourth is the Vaterland, tent is the mother. Okay, and the evolutionary astrology teaching, but I think also traditional. Sometimes I have knowledge, I don't know which stream of astrology I inherited it with. So it's your career, it can be a mother, and for some people, because of career, they say that the 10th house also rules the father. So some people say the mother, some people say the father. And it also means when you rules your boss or when you are a boss. So it also rules a lot of your reputation, your status. Okay. And you understand the connection, mother, father, reputation, status, boss, being a boss. Okay, the you that you put out to the world. What you are known for. Also legacy, okay, what you are known for. And so addressing mother, father, legacy, what I'm known for, my status, my image, can be a key. I have Uranus in my 10th house. You cannot understand, you can absolutely not understand Shirley Jungblut without coming into terms that Uranus also modernly rules her 12th house. Shirley will not be a career person in any traditional. She will always rebel. And when she has rebelled, now she rebels, there's another thing to rebel. She will always revolutionize. Can't be put into frames. Okay? For example, I grew up in Israel. I did not go to the army. And it was my mother, I was very young, that ensured that I will not. And she loved the army. It's not because she didn't like the army. She understood that no. This is not no. For me, no. Not traditional system, not traditional frameworks, okay? For you, it may be different. Maybe you have Saturn in the 10th. So you need to be in a hierarchical organization in your field. Maybe Saturn in Sagittarius. So you need to be a lecturer, a senior lecturer, maybe a dean, maybe, head of a faculty. Okay? And when you go there, when you develop that, when you understand who you are to the world, yes, who you are, the ascendant, who you are to the world. I have Sagittarius in my 10th. I'm a teacher. I'm a philosopher. I'm an optimistic person who always thinks, how can I do that? How can it be done? What more can be done? But what greater good awaits, humanity? Compare that with Saturn in my 9th house. And you find this is a satire. I'm a walking satire. I always think, what can be done? How can we make it better? Then my Saturn's the contraction, okay? It's like, that's not gonna happen, that's not comma, that's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen, and then I do it. Okay? So you need to understand what is in your 10th house. If you have Libra in your 10th house, maybe you want to be seen as beautiful, intelligent, have a peaceful image, image of a connection maker, okay, ruling by Venus. And it's important to you. There is also, if you like me, and you have, let's say, ruler of, I don't know, the 12th house, which is what you didn't know was this, and therefore is, there's a lot of surrender to the 12th house. Then, for you, radical acceptance and coming to terms that you will not dictate what others think of you. You can do Fumalaut work, okay, Fumalaut, astrological magic, declare your name if you need to. That being said, there's a sense of letting go of how others perceive you that is even deeper. Okay? Like you can't, like, whatever they think, you can't control it. There's always a tension. Okay, the ascendant is squaring the the 10th house. The first house is squaring the 10th house by sign. There's always a tension that is just a dissonance that you hold between who this person is in person and who this person is on stage. If you talk to Beyonce, if you meet Beyonce and you talk to Beyonce, versus if you go to see a performance by Beyonce, these are two different Beyoncés. Even with the people where what you see is what you get. Two complete, and this tension will always be. The best case is you like this side and you like that side. This tension will always be. So for you also need to be cautious because you're meeting your person, your significant other, in the house of image, public image, okay? They can have good public image, you can have good public image, okay? But this is the public image, there's also the ascendant, there's also other things, and you more than any other person will need to make sure you genuinely like each other. Because they can have, tremendous, maybe, when you meet them in their career, or maybe they're your boss, or you're their boss, you meet them in their career and they are shining. Maybe they have like aspect of the Leo sun in the 10th. They are Regulian. But you meet in person, you see raptures in this image, which is natural because you're meeting the person, you're not meeting the image. And you're mating with the person, not the image, and then you need to understand that as well. Do you genuinely like this person, or do you just like the way they see on TV? Do they genuinely like you, or do they like the person they see on TV? Okay? So you're going to very deeply look at the ruler of the 5th, the ruler of the 7th, triplicity rulers, Venus, Jupiter, get to a conclusion. How do I know that I like this person? At least tend to that. Because at the end of the day, when you're running your life with someone, then you also want to be with a person that you genuinely like each other. Ruler of the 7th in the 11th. So 11th, acquaintances. They can be conferences, social media, but not the local, house WhatsApp group, more like wide social media, okay, mass media. And so dreams, goals, activism. Then, when you understand what are you an activist of, what are you an advocate of, okay? The second house is your value, which you might not speak about, but they reflect when you tell a story. The 11th house, you advocate for something in the 11th. If you had to be advocating for something activistically in society, what would you be advocating for? What social movement? If you can be, it's like a drinking game. If you were the head of a social movement, what would that social movement be about? If you had to give a lecture, what would that lecture be about? Okay, what would you want? What does the world need? The Ikigai model is what I like, what I'm good at. And then what does the world need that I'd like to give? Okay, it's the 11th. What does the world need that I'd like to give? So me being at service is the 6th house. Me advocating for something is the 11th. When you tend to that, when you begin to act on that, then you can see, and this is why the 11th house can be the house of camaraderie. Okay, think about literally kamerade. And that can be strong friendship. It can be strong connection. Okay, people think 11th is superficial. Sometimes superficial. Sometimes it can be very, very strong. Okay, the two comrades that are advocating, they're social activists, and that is something that can bring you a relationship that is also a friendship. So, a lover and a friend. But you need to understand what you're advocating. Are your views compatible? Is your activism? What you be an activist for, and how are you being an activist? The how is the what and the how. Ruler of the 7th in the 12th. One of the most, difficult, not to slap it under all the difficult aspects, ruler of the 7th and the 12th. That which is your partner is in the place where you didn't know that you didn't know. Now, things you can do. 12th house charity. And this is something idea taken from Lada Luncheva. Because the 12th house is where you give unconditionally. So, if you're already using this energy to give unconditionally, and you involve something with the signification of your partner, this is more advanced astrology here. And then this is hypothesis. I don't know if it would work for you for partnership and praxis, but it can. So, if you are, look, what is your 12th house? Okay, let's say 12th house is Gemini. Donate money to a debate group on a Wednesday. I don't remember the number for Gemini, but you can check the number for Gemini. It can be something like that. Donate money for a debate group. Okay, it's absolutely Gemini. Okay. Donate cellular phones to people in isolation, or lonely people, or people who escaped violence, or homeless people, so that they can communicate. Donate money so that they can communicate, so that they can write to someone. Very good 12th house charity for Gemini. Okay. In those ways, because those who have been forgotten, Saturn is at its best at it is joy at the 12th house. It is Hellenistic teaching. I think Chris Brennan wrote an article about that, the joy of the planets, a while ago. So Saturn is best at the 12th house. Okay, so when you address the people that are of Saturn nature, the people that are forgotten about, the people, the elderly people, or the people who deal with misfortune, then you are also integrating Saturn, even if it's not in the 12th house or ruling the 12th house, you're also integrating that which is Saturn, that which is intending to your attention, because at the end of the day, the nature of the 12th house experiences is to bring you in contact with humanity, with that with you that is human. So when you are in contact with humanity, not just, of course, the donation of money, but you are even tending to it, then you're already doing a bit of your 12th house. Okay? That homeless person that you see is not a person necessarily who made bad choices in life, not more or less than you necessarily. If you're able to see that this is where they are right now, and tend to them in whichever way you can tend to them, they're human to you. They're human to you. And then, this is already something there. And either way, it can be a bit Jungian in the sense that, the hidden enemy is what you didn't know, or what you castrated, or what you this, or what you that. It's like, no, you can defend yourself and see the humanity in people, get from a bird's eye view. This is the closest, this is the channeling other realms. Okay, so near-death experiences, channeling mediumship, channeling the dead, and so on and so forth. To say Saturn is its joy there. The Saturn, dead people, dead things, cemeteries, but not cemeteries in the fourth house with people who are dead. And this is this one again, like the 8th, it's not an easy fix. It's just tending to humanity, basically. And especially the people who are in isolation from society, okay? Caring about them, tending to them, praying for them, sending them energy. This is why a lot of Neptune work can even contribute, even if Neptune does not rule your 12th house. And maybe Saturn work as well, but because Neptune is about missing things, and when you tend to that which is missing, to that which suffers grief or feels helpless or what, pray for these people, then you are doing this work, you're doing the spiritual work. Now, of course, with the 12th house and partnership, connecting with the dead too. Look at this immediately. I'm like, look at this. So, connecting with other worlds, connecting with the dead or that which is dead or something like that in a safe way, that can also contribute. Nothing too intelligent to have to say about this right now. So again, I don't have a quick fix for the 12th, okay? 12 can also be secret affairs. It can also be that there's something about the partner that you didn't know. You need to understand what do they bring to your 12th, how is this ruler aspected, and this is 12th house teaching. You need to go to astrologers, people that do 12th house teachings, and look to your soul as well. So this is not something that I have like an easy a tip on other than what I just said. Oh, of course. Ah, yeah. Secret bed pleasures. Thank you. This is also Lada's teaching. So hotels, but not necessarily. Secret bed. It's the bedroom. Okay? Enjoy yourself in the bedroom. This is a time to explore your own innermost fantasies, okay, your sexuality, okay, and discover what you didn't know that you fantasize about. So this is a good way to celebrate actually the 12th house. Have good things attributed to it. Again, of course, it is not instead of making sure how is the ruler aspected, what do you need to address, who is the ruler of the 12th house, where is the ruler, how is it aspected, what do you need to address there, the 12th house charity and anything like 12th house. It's what you didn't know. It's between this world and other worlds. It's the crossing over sometimes, and also the 8, it's also birth, but yeah. It's the crossing over sometimes, and I don't have an easy thing to say, because even at its best, it's intricate, okay? It's fascinating and it's intricate. So think about people who cross over near-death experiences. People who cross over even, or nearly cross over. A lot of them describe a lot of joy waiting for them, okay? But people who have these people who pass over around, yes, there is grief involved, there is loss involved, there's helplessness involved, okay? Those things do exist also in the 12th house, so you need to understand this is not an easy fix, okay? It's not, oh, learn how to eat, okay? So thank you so much for being with me live, and thank you for the like, and I'm going to stop bothering my neighbors and go to sleep. So this was Venus Wisdom on Venus Day. Bye.